Hello everybody and welcome to Against the Fence. This is your latest UFC news with that real fan opinion. And tonight we've not got one, we've not got two, we've not got three, but we've got four new fight announcements which came last night, courtesy of Brett Okamoto and ESPN. And tell you what, but first we'll get into it. Before we get into it, we've got a few housekeeping notes. Tomorrow night, if you're a big fan of The Ultimate Fighter, Ash will be going live, giving you his review of episodes 8 to 10. So do stick around for that. That should hopefully be tomorrow night. I think he wants to do it around 6 o'clock, between 6 and 8 p.m. UK time. So do check that out. And if you haven't done so already, hit the notifications button on our page. Secondly, we want to get you guys involved with our channel as much as possible, okay? So we're opening up more ways in which we can do that. And this week, Sai will be giving you his People's Picks show, and we want you guys to get involved with it. We want you to video yourselves, giving you sort of explaining your picks for this weekend's UFC 265, and then emailing them over to us. Well, you can do that via what the ways we do that, through Google Drive or WeTransfer or anything like that. And the email will be down below in the description. And then basically we'll cut it all up and everything, and you'll have your own individual segment. So we've got that. We've also got fan cams as well that will be happening after the event. So do stay tuned for that. And then my third housekeeping note, it's a pretty clear one because we do it every single weekend. We've got the watch along for this weekend's UFC 265, and that'll be Cyril Gane versus Derek Lewis. And that's going to be such a fire event. We're so pumped for it. Do stick around for that. Come join us, and we'll have a blast together, no doubt. So let's get into these fight announcements then. Now I've got them. I'm going to go through them in chronological order, how they're going to appear throughout the next few months. So let's dive straight in then with the first one being Paulo Costa taking on Marvin Vettori, and that will headline October 23rd. Fire, says Wazza. Yes, glad to see you've joined us for a news show for once, Wazza, instead of a watch long. It makes a difference. Yes, so we've got ranked number 2 Costa taking on ranked number 4 Marvin Vettori. Now Costa hasn't really fought since his loss to Izzy Adesanya, and that was back in September 27. And that was his first pro loss as well. He's had 2 fights cancelled in that meantime, one against Robert Whittaker and the other one against Jared Cannonier. And what's funny is that the Jared Cannonier one, the reason why he pulled out, the first one against Whittaker, he pulled out due to illness, supposedly. The second one against Jared Cannonier, he pulled out due to money issues with the UFC. But now he's back, and, Cannonier is fighting Kelvin Gastelum. He's now going to be taking on Marvin Vettori. And this will be Marvin Vettori's 3rd fight this year. Okay, so he's been very active. He's beaten, we've seen him fight Kevin Holland. We've seen him fight, obviously, Izzy against for the belt as well. And, I think it was three times. Is it 3 times Marvin Vettori's fought? I could be about wrong about that one. Might have to double check. But nonetheless, he's been active. So, and I've got high hopes for Vettori in this fight. I actually do. I'm not going to lie. But I'm going to give you my predictions in just a sec. Costa has fought many top guys. Now, he's fought Izzy, of course. He's fought Yoel Romero, and he's fought Uriah Hall. And since, he's worked his way up to get that title shot against Izzy, which unfortunately he lost. But now he's going to have to do a bit of grafting if he wants to get back in there. For me, has Costa really fought that many top guys? Really? There's 3 that I've picked out. He hasn't really. Okay, so he's yet to be... he has been clearly tested, but he's going to get really tested now against Marvin Vettori, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think, if you rate Marvin Vettori or not. Part of me actually rates him. He's a gritty fighter, and, he's going to come in there and mix things up. So I'm interested to see how this fight plays out. Now, this will be a headliner of a UFC Fight Night. It deserves to, right? Both guys have headlined recently. So, it makes sense. We've got Wazza saying, Costa looking huge. Don't think he makes 85. Do you know what? I was literally going to be talking about that. It is intriguing. He does look massive. And he has been struggling to make that cut. Oh, it definitely looks like it in the past that he struggled to make that cut for 185. And personally, I think the way he's at the moment, he needs to be making 205, you know? And it's part of me why I'm swaying towards Vittori in this fight because of the weight cut issues or potential weight cut issues. Ashley's saying, yeah, man, definitely on something. Costa KO. So Ashley's going for Costa KO already. You know, and with Costa, I guess it's all about how he bounces back from that first loss, really, you know, and how much it's kind of affected him mentally. Izzy really did kind of embarrass him towards the finish of that fight. Personally, I think he should take 205. I think it'd be a good idea. Let us know what you guys think. I think Waz is clearly going for the move to 205 for Paulo Costa. But anyhow, my prediction is I think either Costa's going to get that knockout or Vettori's going to take a decision. And Vittori, I think, is likely to take the decision by mixing up his striking with his wrestling, really. If he's able to do that effectively and avoid the big shots of Costa, then he will win a decision, hands down. So my pick so far will be Marvin Vettori. Now, obviously, that can change down the line. I'm not going to be I try not to be a typical Sai and kind of change things up last minute, but it's so early. We've got months still left to go, and there's still room. You never know. I might see some training footage. We might see Costa lean as fuck a month before competing, and which could sway me to Costa. But we'll see. Moving on then, our next fight in line is going to be October 30th, and that's going to be on the UFC 267 card, along with Jan Blachowicz, and who's taking on Glover Teixeira, and Aljamain Sterling, who is taking on Peter Yan, of course. Amazing addition to this card. This card is going to be looking absolutely insane, and I cannot wait for it already, and it feels like it's ages away. It is ages away. But let's get into it. Islam Makachev taking on Rafael dos Sanyos. Now, Makachev is ranked at number 5. Dos Sanyos is ranked at number 7. And Islam has been the most active fighter out of the two of them. You know, this will be his third fight this year. Coming off of Drew Dober, fight against Drew Dober. And that fight recently against Thiago Moises, where he finished both of those guys. So, you know, the pressure's on for RDA. And this is a perfect fight, I think, for Islam Makachev. Now, RDA has won 3 of his last 7. Now, that's interesting. 3 of his last 7. Bearing in mind his last fight, which he won, was against Paul Felder, and it was his return to lightweight, and it was a split decision. Very close fight, right? But, questions. Paul Felder's now retired, yeah? So, during that fight, was Paul Felder... did he have 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door? That's the question. And for RDA, you've gone split decision with this guy. So it's interesting, right? Okay, so... oh, Ash saying RDA KO, joking. Islam 30-25 says Wazza. Interesting. Yep, I think it's very possible. Very possible. So Wazza thinks this fight is going to go to a decision. That's interesting. Looking at the options, RDA is very tough to submit, okay? Now, he's only been submitted once, and that was against Clay Guida, way back in the day, and that was actually, I think he broke his jaw, and Clay Guida put him in some kind of, like, neck crank. 30-24, says Ash. That's it. Wow, bold move. I mean, 10-8 round there, maybe for Makachev. Okay, then. But let's read out this quote then, which has come in from ESPN, where RDA's been speaking to RDA, Brett Okomoko speaking to RDA, and he says, Islam doesn't want to fight 5 rounds. Okay, that's interesting. Islam's just coming off a 5-round win against Thiago Moises, right? That was my request. Okay, so RDA wanted to headline a UFC fight night, clearly, but it didn't work out. So fine, let's do 3 then. He's been talking a lot of crap. Let's see who is who now. I'm ready to go. This is a title eliminator in my eyes. Absolutely. Well, potentially a title eliminator. It's very stacked at this lightweight division. Now, why would Islam Makachev choose 3 rounds over 5? That's interesting because surely against RDA, you'd expect RDA to probably fade at his age over 5 rounds, right? And if you're Islam Makachev, who puts on a lot of pressure on guys, you're going to make RDA fade, surely, right? So why would you not want to headline a fight night? Why have you gone back to 3-round events? You want to sort of elevate yourself in this division. Why not get a second headliner? Weird, right? Very, very strange. I don't know what you guys make of that thought. Why would Islam pick a 3-round fight? Now, my only thought really is, what could the reasons be? Like your Islam Makachev, you can grind out a win easily. Is it purely? Do you know what? I think the reason why is maybe it's a tactical decision, because maybe Islam is preparing to fight at such a higher pace. If you've got 3 rounds, you can fight at a higher pace. So maybe he wants to bull rush RDA, and in my eyes, if you're going to bull rush RDA, you're going to use up a lot of energy. RDA's got those in wicked kicks in his arsenal. They're going to be dangerous. They could potentially shut down Islam. So Islam needs to get in RDA's face pretty quick. And to do that, he's going to have to fight at a higher output. So that's maybe the reason why he's picked 3 rounds. That is a funny one, says Ash. Get on a big pay-per-view and get more eyes on him. Yeah, I guess so. There is that flip side to it as well. That pay-per-view, that's definitely, you get pay-per-view points and as well as things like that. This would be, he's been on pay-per-views before. Very, very interesting. But I kind of get that move. That makes sense. Good point, Weiser. Okay. Fair point, I guess. I guess for RDA, he's got nothing to lose. He's on the back end of his career anyway. Let's move on to my prediction for this fight. Now, I will probably take Islam Makachev via decision as well. But I think, like I said, RDA will need to get his kicks off pretty early. But let's see if Islam can still be effective, if Islam is doing damage with those kicks. We've seen RDA crumble against wrestlers before. He got knocked out against Eddie Alvarez, of course. And Eddie Alvarez stole the belt off of him. And he's had a lot of guys pressuring up before. Sai will pick Islam, then change his hash. Probably. I think Sai will likely see the insane kicks of RDA, because RDA's got probably one of the best kicks in all of the UFC, to be honest, or potentially MMA. Top 10, definitely, for sure. So that could be the reason that Sai changes his decision. But yeah, I think I'm going with Islam Makachev, early doors, via decision. 30-27, 30-25. Either one of those is very possible. I would like to see Makachev get the finish. It would be nice to see him get the submission. It would make a massive statement still for him to get that. And even going into this fight announcement, I think he's mentioned it previously in the watch along, the last Islam Makachev watch along, that RDA would be one of the decisions, one of the options, sorry, as well as Beneil Dariush. But a win against RDA, he's already ranked at number 5. RDA is a bit lower. Does it do much for Islam Makachev? Not really. You just get a top 5 opponent next, right? And you move on with this insane win streak that you've got. As for RDA, if you win, that's a huge statement, because you've just beat a guy who's racked up this 8-fight win streak, whatever he's on. And I wouldn't say you're next in line for a title. There's no way that's happening. It's too stacked at the top 5. He would need to beat at least another top 5 guy to get that title fight, in my opinion. So let's move on to then our next fight on the list. And it's happening in November 20th. And it is Joanne Calderwood against Alexa Grasso. Not going to be a headliner. It's going to be on a fight night. Now, Calderwood is coming off of a split decision loss against Lauren Murphy. And that was a title eliminator. Very important fight for JoJo. Would be off to her races if she would have beat Lauren Murphy. Now, some of you guys probably believe that Joanne Calderwood should have won that fight. Let us know in the comments how you scored that fight. It was a very close, but nonetheless, Joanne Calderwood's going to get her head down and continue grinding for that title fight that she really desperately wants. She's an absolute veteran of the sport as well, of course. As for Grasso, she's coming off that decision win against Macy Barber, and you could argue that Macy Barber never really got going in that fight. Majority of the time, she was punching air. But I think Alexa Grasso still looked good. Like, she's a technical striker. She's got very good movement as well. So in those aspects, she'll probably cause Joanne Calderwood a lot of problems. But as for Grasso, she's on a 2-fight win streak, okay? And, if you beat the number 6 girl in the division, you're moving up pretty quick, and you're going to get a top 5 girl next. And that's where it's going to get a little bit dicey. I wouldn't say it's Grasso's toughest test to date, though, okay? Now, the reason for that is she has beaten... She has fought the likes of Carla Esparza before, former champion, and she has fought Tatiana Suarez, and she lost to both of those girls. And Tatiana Suarez, very heavy wrestler, like her top game is in superb. Carla Esparza, very wrestling heavy as well, kind of mixes things up very well. She's on a tear at the moment as well. So clearly Grasso will probably be looking for that rematch eventually down the line. As for Carla Esparza, I think she's next in line if Lauren Murphy was to pull out against Valentina Shevchenko. So that's an option. But yeah, I think it's a good fight for Grasso. It's a very good fight for Grasso. Is it winnable? I'm not sure. I'm going to give you my reasons. Now, what's interesting about both of these girls is neither one of them have been knocked out. Neither one have been knocked out. Both have been submitted and they've lost decisions. A majority of JoJo's losses have been by decision. So, it's more or less scoring points for that girl and getting in these dominant positions. But my prediction for this fight, I think I'm taking Joanne Calderwood by decision. And the reason why she's going to be so much stronger going into this fight than Grasso, and she'll be a nightmare in the clinch. I think she's going to be able to press Grasso up against the fence, be really rough with her, be gritty, probably get the odd takedown a few times. And I think she's going to be really good at in and out with her striking. Alexa Grasso could probably pick her apart in some aspects. I'm not sure who's got the reach advantage. That'd be really interesting because Grasso is quite long for a female fighter. And if she's able to keep JoJo at bay and strike at range, then maybe she's got a good chance of pulling out a decision if she keeps moving and just effectively point fights her for the whole fight. But I guess that's that option. But let us know in the comments what you think of that fight. Do you see it, Joanne Calderwood going to a decision as well, or do you see Alexa Grasso potentially getting the decision? Time will tell. Who knows? But let's move on then to the last fight, which was announced for December. So long away, December, and it's heating up, and it's probably a good reason for it, really. If you're Cody Garbrandt, because Cody Garbrandt is making that cut down to flyweight, and he will be taking on Kai Kara France. Now, Cody Garbrandt is ranked at number 6 at bantamweight, and Kai Kara France is ranked at number 7. Going backwards. Alexa win, says Ash. Bizarre. Okay, we're gonna go head to head on that one. Back to the Cody Garbrandt Kai Kara France fight. I think both guys have a combination of 22 knockouts between them. Pretty damn impressive. I'm really interested to see how Cody Garbrandt does at flyweight. Now, the guy at the moment, especially when we saw him in the Rob Font fight, he looks to be coming in. He looks like he cuts a lot of weight now. He looks strong for a bantamweight. So how is he going to cut down to flyweight? It's going to be interesting. Now, especially when he's sort of after... It's going to be tough after having one win in just your last 5 fights, okay? It's squeaky bum time for Cody. UFC can't afford to cut him. He's entertaining. He's got eyes. But if he's, they could start treating him a bit badly if he does lose against Kai Kara France. Because otherwise, what's next? What is next for you? If you're out of contract or going out of contract, Bellator might be your option. But in my opinion, Cody needs to do this cut the right way. And I think what he needs to do is he needs to use a nutritionist like a George Lockhart who's going to get it down and start getting it down now. Otherwise, we're going to see a similar struggle like TJ Dillashaw had when he tried cutting down for the Henry Cejudo fight. Now, I don't think I can't remember. I did remember seeing the Chronicles series before the Dillashaw versus Cody fight. Cody Sanhagen, sorry, and I'm not sure if he used a nutritionist or not in that for that fight. So if George Lockhart can get Cody down to a reasonable weight, maybe walk around the bantamweight sort of limit, and then maybe cut down to 125, or just walk around at 125, I think that'd be the better option. But it's going to be so much taxing on the body, and Ash saying Mexican supplements for Cody. Look, he would be going through the same thing that TJ Dillashaw went through. If that cut is making it hard, is he going to resort to EPO? That's the question. But and I think. Another thing for Cody, what I think he should do is make the permanent move down to New Jersey to train with Mark Henry. Because I remember on the Joe Rogan podcast, he said to Joe Rogan that he needs to, that he travels quite far to visit Mark Henry. So his whole camp isn't with Mark Henry. I don't think it is. Now, that could have changed in that time. I'm not too sure. I haven't really looked into it. But if he made that permanent move, that would be fantastic. Someone who's really going to nail down his skills. I think if he spends a lot more time with Mark Henry, we could see a whole new Cody Garbrandt. And we thought we were seeing that in the Rafael Sanso fight. It got us really excited. And, the Rob Font fight just wasn't there. Rob Font just outstruck him for the 5 rounds and really kind of embarrassed Cody a little bit. But as for Kai France, then moving on from Cody a little bit. Let's just not make it all highlighted on Cody. I mean, I'm afraid it's going to be that way. But for Kai France, he's coming off that knockout against Rogerio Bontorin back in March, where he looked phenomenal in that fight. He's a great kickboxer, and he is out of city kickboxing in New Zealand, so He's around the camp, the likes of Israel Adesanya and those kind of guys over there. But a win against Cody, does it put him in the title picture straight away? I don't think so. It's a good win to have against a bantamweight, former bantamweight champion. Absolutely. Like feather in your cap, that's going to do you massively confidence going forward in your career to try and get that title fight. But I just don't see it. I think now that Brandon Moreno is the champ and he's got a few fights ahead of him, Alex Perez, who Ash really thinks highly of, he's going to be up there along with Askar Askarov. So I don't see Kai France fighting for a title anytime soon. Kai France does have a loss against Brandon Moreno as well. Okay. He is going to be wanting that rematch, definitely down the line for sure. For me, Brandon Moreno, I think will probably rematch Figueiredo. I think that could happen. That could probably happen towards the end of the year. Who knows? Yes, Perez says Ash. Also another question from Wazza. Holloway versus Yahya, November 13th, main event? ? I'd like to see that. I think that was meant to be scheduled before. Has that been announced tonight, Wazza? Because I haven't seen that just yet. But yeah, that would be phenomenal. Why not? Holloway needs to get back in there. He hasn't fought since January. Yair Rodriguez hasn't fought in forever. So, yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's a good shout. Moving on then to my prediction for the Cody Garbrandt versus Kai France fight. This one might be the toughest one out of the rest of them. What do you guys think? I think it's the toughest one because it all depends on efficiency with Cody Garbrandt and how he manages that weight cut. He likely be fighting the faster guy, and I think his footwork and angles are going to be key in this fight. Kai France is going to be fast, man. Cody KO, says Ash. Possible, very possible. Cody's boxing is phenomenal. He can probably light Kai France up, but Cody's going to have to be patient as well against Kai France. Kai France is very sneaky. If he catches Cody and Cody starts getting a bit aggressive again, could be night again for Cody. Wazza saying, I just seen it reported 13 minutes ago. No way, really? Shit, okay, news just in from the man in the chair, Wazza. Thanks for that, Wazza. We've got Max Holloway taking on Yair Rodriguez. Now, to pull that into all together, finally, Yahya is scheduled for another fight. So for that, for where we're going from that, I think Holloway will then take another fight because Yahya will probably drop out. But I hope not. It's been fucking forever since we've seen Yahya Rodriguez, and he's an entertaining fighter, and it's going to be interesting to see how much he has developed in the time that he's been away. Injuries permitted, of course. Now, Max Holloway, man, I'm excited. I'm pumped for that. That's a brilliant fight. Definitely a main event, 100%. What else is on that card? November 13th. While we're live, let's quickly have a look. Or what's scheduled for that card. Anyhow, November 13th. Oh, Ovis% Pro, which was also announced yesterday, taking on Felipe Lins. But Ovis% Pro, he's not been impressive lately, has he? I mean, are we getting up for him? Not really. He needs to get back in there. But excellent card for that to happen. My early prediction for Holloway, yeah, it's got to be Holloway, isn't it? It's probably got to be Holloway. Let's face it. He just looks so good against Calvin Kattar. So good. It was ridiculous. Has he got to get past the kicks of Yahya? Of course. That's always going to be a problem. That's a problem for anyone. Can he solve it? I think he can. With his experience at the top level, I think he can. But very good fight, and I can't wait to break that one down with you guys as well. So yeah, Ash confirming as well. Fantastic. So yeah, I still haven't really given my prediction for the Cody Kai France fight. I don't really want to say it. I kind of want to say Cody knockout, but look, like I said, it all depends on come that week of that fight. I could easily sway between the two. For now, I'll be safe. I'll go Cody knockout. I think we would like to see Cody fight some of these guys at flyweight, and it'd be interesting to see how good he looks at that weight if he gets the weight cut sorted. Okay. Any questions before we go, guys, in the chats? Let's get your thoughts on some of these fights. So, of course, just to backtrack, then my first pick was I'm going for Vittori via decision against Paulo Costa. I'm going for Makachev via decision against RDA. I'm going for Joanne Calderwood via decision against Alexa Grasso. And I'm probably going to go for Cody Garbrandt via knockout against Kai France, I'm afraid. But yeah, like I said before, thanks for joining us. As I said before, do get your video in to the email address below. Send us your video. It could just be on your phone. It could be a camera. It doesn't matter. Just your face. Explaining your picks for this weekend. Sai's going to cut them up, whack you in the show, and yeah, it'd be great for you guys to be a part of it, because this is a fan channel. We want to get you guys involved as much as possible. We don't want to be like these other channels. We want to be something different, and we want you guys to get on board with it. Wazza, with a question before I go. One more. Bobby Green versus Rafael Feiser. Who have you got? Feiser, man. Fucking animal. Absolute animal. I would love to see that fight on the main card. It's gutting we're not going to be sort of breaking it down this weekend. Feiser does deserve a main card slot, and Bobby Green's a good fight. A veteran, experienced veteran. Feiser's going to piece him apart, man. He's just so accurate. He's fun to watch, and he's got power. He's going to be sitting down in his punches. I think he puts Bobby Green away. I do. And I can easily see it being like a controversial stoppage. Just because of the nature of Bobby Green. Yeah, I think he's going to be complaining to the ref. Feiser's going to get the W, and Feiser's going to advance forward. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining us. This is ATF. I'm JK. Tune in tomorrow for Ash's tough video. He will be live at 8 o'clock. Bang on the money, sunshine. Okay, he's going to be live at 8 o'clock. Do join in for that. Do join us this weekend for the watch along. We'll see you soon. Peace out.